The platform buzzed with the chaos of departures, but Eleanor sat frozen, her wrinkled hands clutching a faded ticket as if it were her last lifeline. In that moment, with the screech of incoming trains echoing like screams from her past, she turned to the young man beside her, disheveled, eyes hollow from some unseen battle, and whispered the question that had haunted her for decades. "Young man, do you believe in miracles?" He glanced up, startled. His name was Jack, though she didn't know it yet. Jack had just lost everything: his job, his fiancée, his faith in the world. The train station was his escape route to nowhere, a one-way ticket to start over, or perhaps end it all. But Eleanor's voice, soft yet piercing, cut through his fog like a lighthouse beam in a storm. "Miracles?" he muttered, half to himself, half to her. "Lady, if they exist, they've skipped me entirely." Eleanor smiled faintly, her eyes blue as faded denim twinkling with memories long buried. She had been coming to this station every year on this date for 40 years, waiting for a train that never brought what she truly sought. But today felt different. The air hummed with possibility, or maybe it was just the vibration of the tracks. "Let me tell you a story," she said, her voice gaining strength. "It might change your mind." It began in 1985, when Eleanor was not old, but vibrant, a schoolteacher in a small Midwestern town where cornfields stretched like golden oceans under endless skies. She had married young, to a man named Thomas, whose laugh could light up the darkest room. They had dreams: a house with a porch swing, children running through the yard, a life woven from simple joys. But fate, that cruel weaver, had other plans. One rainy autumn evening, Thomas was driving home from the factory when a drunk driver crossed the median. The crash was instant, merciless. Eleanor received the call at midnight, her world shattering like glass underfoot. She was left alone, pregnant with their first child, a boy she would name after his father. Little Tommy became her miracle, her reason to breathe amid the grief. But miracles, she learned, are fragile. As Tommy grew, he inherited his father's wanderlust. By 18, he dreamed of the city lights, of becoming an artist in New York. Eleanor begged him to stay, but youth knows no caution. He boarded a train from this very station, promising to return for Christmas. That was the last she saw of him. Letters arrived sporadically at first, then dwindled to silence. Rumors trickled back. He'd fallen into bad company, drugs, the underbelly of the big city. Eleanor's heart broke anew each year as she waited on this bench, hoping against hope. Jack listened, his cynicism cracking like ice under spring sun. He saw his own reflection in her tale, lost, adrift, chasing illusions that led to dead ends. "So, you come here every year? Waiting for a ghost?" he asked, his voice softer now. "Not a ghost," Eleanor replied. "A miracle. Because I believe, deep down, that people can come back. That kindness from a stranger can spark change." She paused, watching a family board a train nearby, their laughter a balm to her soul. "You look like you've lost your way too. What brings you here?" Jack hesitated, then the words tumbled out. He'd been a promising engineer, engaged to Sarah, his college sweetheart. But corporate greed downsized him, and Sarah left when the money dried up. "I thought hard work meant something," he said bitterly. "Now I'm heading west, to whatever job I can scrape up." "Miracles? They're for fairy tales." Eleanor reached into her bag, pulling out a worn photo of young Tommy, his smile identical to Jack's in a way that made her heart skip. "This was my son. He looked a bit like Usain Fire in the eyes. I wonder if he's out there, believing in nothing, like you." As the sun dipped lower, casting long shadows on the platform, a vendor wheeled by with coffee and pastries. Eleanor bought 2 cups, handing one to Jack. The warmth seeped into his hands, mirroring the unexpected comfort of her company. They talked more about regrets, about dreams deferred. Jack shared how his parents had died young, leaving him to fend for himself, fostering a distrust of attachments. Unbeknownst to them, across the platform, a middle-aged woman named Clara watched. She was no stranger to this station. She came here often, searching for faces in the crowd. Clara had her own story, one intertwined with Eleanor's in ways neither could imagine yet. But for now, she observed, her presence a quiet ripple in the unfolding drama. The conversation deepened. Eleanor recounted the years after Tommy left, how she threw herself into teaching, shaping young minds as a substitute for her lost family. There were suitors, but none could fill Thomas's shoes. Loneliness became her companion, but she found solace in small acts, helping neighbors, volunteering at shelters. Kindness is the real miracle, she insisted. It multiplies, comes back when you least expect. Jack nodded, feeling a stir in his chest. For the first time in months, he didn't feel utterly alone. As their train approached, whistling its arrival, Eleanor stood shakily. "Promise me something," she said. "Believe in one miracle today. It might save you." He helped her with her bag, a simple gesture that felt profound. As they boarded, side by side, the world outside blurred into motion. Little did Jack know, this encounter was just the beginning, a thread in a tapestry of fate. In the quiet of the train car, Eleanor settled into her seat, Jack across from her. The rhythm of the wheels lulled them into further confidences. She spoke of the letters Tommy sent initially, full of excitement about art galleries and street performers. Then, the tone shifted, hints of struggle, pleas for money she couldn't spare. "I should have gone to him," she whispered, tears welling. "But fear held me back." Jack shared his own fears, of failure, of vulnerability. "Sarah said I was too closed off." Maybe she was right. The vulnerability in his voice surprised him. This old lady had unlocked something. Hours passed, landscapes shifting from urban sprawl to rolling hills. At a stop, Clara boarded, taking a seat nearby. She was elegant, with streaks of gray in her hair, carrying a sketchbook. Overhearing snippets, she leaned in. "Excuse me," she said, her voice tentative. "I couldn't help but listen. Your story about your son. It sounds familiar." Eleanor turned, hope flickering. "Familiar how?" Clara hesitated, then opened her sketchbook. Inside were drawings of city scenes, but one stood out, a portrait of a man resembling Tommy, older now, with lines of hardship. "I knew a man like that in New York. An artist, down on his luck. He talked about his mother back home, regretted leaving." The twist hit like a thunderclap. Clara wasn't just a passerby. She was Tommy's former lover, the one who tried to pull him from the abyss. "He disappeared 5 years ago," she revealed. "But he always said he'd return to this station someday." Eleanor's hands trembled. Jack, sensing the moment's weight, offered support. This unexpected ally shifted everything, injecting new emotion into their journey. As night fell, the train pressed on, carrying them toward revelations. The revelation hung in the air like smoke from a distant fire. Clara's words ignited a spark in Eleanor's eyes, one Jack hadn't seen before, a mix of terror and exhilaration. "Tell me everything," Eleanor urged, her voice quivering as the train rattled through the darkening countryside. Clara sighed, closing her sketchbook with care. She had met Tommy in a dingy Brooklyn cafe, where he sketched patrons for tips. He was talented, but broken, she said. Spoke of his father dying young, his mother raising him alone. Guilt ate at him for leaving her. They had fallen in love amid the chaos of city life, dreaming of stability. But addiction crept in, stealing Tommy's light. "I tried to help, got him into rehab once. But he relapsed, vanished one night. Left a note saying he didn't deserve miracles." Eleanor's heart ached with every detail, painting a picture of the son she barely knew as an adult. Jack listened intently, his own troubles paling in comparison. This twist, Clara's sudden appearance, shifted the narrative, forcing him to confront how interconnected lives could be. "Maybe he's out there, searching too," Jack offered, trying to infuse hope. The three formed an unlikely trio, sharing stories as the train stopped at small towns. Clara revealed her own scars, a failed marriage, a career as an illustrator derailed by doubt. "Meeting Tommy taught me about second chances," she admitted, "even if they slip away." Eleanor nodded, drawing strength from these strangers. "I've waited so long. But perhaps the miracle isn't his return, it's the people who remind us we're not alone." Jack felt a pang. His isolation had been self-imposed, a wall against pain. As they talked, he opened up about his parents' accident, how it mirrored Thomas's death. "I pushed everyone away after that, Sarah included." Clara sketched them as they spoke, capturing Eleanor's wisdom, Jack's vulnerability. The drawings became a bridge, visual echoes of their emotions. By midnight, the car dimmed, passengers dozing. Eleanor whispered prayers, while Jack pondered belief. Miracles, he realized, Might not be grand spectacles, but quiet shifts in the soul. Dawn broke as they neared Chicago, a transfer point. Eleanor planned to continue west, toward where rumors placed Tommy last. "Join me?" she asked Jack and Clara. Hesitant at first, they agreed, Clara for closure, Jack for redemption. In the city, they checked into a modest hotel, the bustle outside contrasting their introspective mood. Eleanor visited a local shelter, volunteering, as was her habit. There, she met a young runaway named Mia, whose story echoed Tommy's, fleeing home, chasing dreams that turned nightmarish. Mia's presence was another unexpected layer, a minor twist emphasizing generational cycles. "Stay off the streets," Eleanor advised Mia, handing her a warm meal. Jack, watching, felt compelled to help. He used his engineering skills to fix a broken heater at the shelter, a small act that earned grateful smiles. Clara drew portraits for the residents, boosting their spirits. This detour deepened their bond. Mia shared tales of survival, reminding Eleanor of Tommy's potential fate. "Kids like me need someone to believe in us," Mia said. The words struck Jack. Perhaps his miracle was becoming that someone. As evening fell, they boarded the next train, spirits lifted yet tense. Clara received a call from an old contact in New York, a lead on Tommy's whereabouts in California. "He's alive," she announced, tears streaming. The news electrified them, turning the journey into a quest. Eleanor clutched her photo tighter. "Miracles do happen," she murmured. Jack, inspired, emailed old colleagues, seeking job leads not for escape, but purpose. The train hurtled onward, carrying hopes renewed. But doubts lingered. What if Tommy didn't want to be found? What if the past was too painful? Clara confessed her fear. "I loved him, but he broke my heart." Facing him again, Jack reassured her, drawing from his budding faith. "We're in this together. That's the miracle." Through vast plains, they shared meals, laughs, and silences heavy with meaning. Eleanor recounted childhood tales of Thomas, painting him as a hero. "He believed in people," she said. "That's what I hold on to." Mia, whom they'd convinced to join briefly for safety, added youthful optimism. "You guys are like a family," she observed before departing at a stop, armed with contacts for help. The group thinned, but bonds strengthened. As mountains loomed, signaling California's approach, anticipation built. Eleanor dreamed of reunions, Jack of new beginnings, Clara of forgiveness. Yet, a storm brewed, literal and metaphorical. Thunder rattled the windows, mirroring inner turmoils. In a quiet moment, Jack admitted, "I was going to end it at that station. Your questions saved me." Eleanor's eyes widened. "Then the miracle is mutual, dear." Clara nodded, her twist evolving into a pivotal role. Little did they know, the biggest revelation awaited at journey's end. The California sun blazed as the train pulled into Los Angeles, a city of dreams and shattered illusions. Eleanor stepped off first, her steps tentative yet determined, supported by Jack and Clara. The lead from Clara's contact pointed to a rehab center in the hills, where Tommy had reportedly checked in months ago. Hope surged, but so did fear. "What if he doesn't recognize me?" Eleanor fretted, her voice cracking. Jack squeezed her hand. "He will. Mothers are unforgettable." They hailed a cab, winding through traffic-choked streets. Clara fidgeted with her sketchbook, drawing nervous lines. Her unexpected entry had transformed the story, adding layers of romance and regret. Now, she faced her past head-on. At the center, a serene oasis amid urban sprawl, they met the director, a kind-eyed woman named Dr. Reyes. "Tommy's made progress," she said after verifying identities. "But recovery is fragile. He's in group therapy now." Waiting in the garden, Eleanor paced, memories flooding. Tommy's first steps, his artwork pinned on the fridge. Jack shared his own turnaround. "Meeting you two changed everything. I got a job offer this morning, remote engineering gig. Starts next month." Clara smiled faintly. "Proud of you." Tommy would be too. The door opened, and there he was, Tommy, aged by years, but unmistakably her son. Gray streaked his hair, lines etched his face, but his eyes held that familiar spark. "Mom?" he whispered, disbelief turning to tears. Eleanor rushed forward, enveloping him in a hug decades overdue. "My boy," she sobbed. "I never stopped believing." The reunion unfolded in waves of emotion. Tommy explained his descent, the city's temptations, failed art career, addiction's grip. I wanted to come home, but shame kept me away. Seeing Clara, he froze. You? Here. She nodded, tears flowing. I never stopped caring. Jack stood back, witnessing the miracle unfold. This twist Clara's connection had been the catalyst, emphasizing forgiveness's power. As they talked, Tommy revealed he'd been sober 6 months, inspired by a stranger's kindness at Rock Bottom meal, a listening ear. It reminded me of you, Mom. Your lessons on compassion. Eleanor beamed through tears. See? Miracles through people. They spent days at the center, rebuilding bridges. Jack helped Tommy with resumes, drawing on his experience. Clara and Tommy rekindled cautiously, not as lovers, but friends healing old wounds. But life, ever dramatic, introduced another layer. One evening, Tommy confessed a secret. He had a daughter, Lily, now 10, living with her mother in San Francisco. I left them too, like I left you. But I want to make it right. This auxiliary twist to grandchild shifted perspectives, amplifying humanistic values. Eleanor, overjoyed, insisted on meeting her. Family is the ultimate miracle. Jack, feeling part of this tapestry, drove them north. The road trip brimmed with stories. Eleanor's teaching anecdotes, Tommy's art inspirations, Clara's illustrations brought to life. In San Francisco, Lily's mother, Anna, welcomed them warily. Lily, shy with curly hair like Tommy's, eyed the group. Are you my grandma? She asked Eleanor. Yes, sweetheart, Eleanor replied, kneeling. And I've waited my whole life for this. The meeting was tearful, joyful. Anna saw Tommy's change, allowing tentative visits. Jack bonded with Lily over drawings, his heart mending through these connections. As weeks passed, the group formed a makeshift family. Eleanor moved temporarily to California, helping Tommy reintegrate. Jack, with his new job, visited often, his cynicism replaced by gratitude. Clara, finding closure, pursued her art anew, exhibiting sketches of their journey. This is our miracle, she said at the opening, toasting Eleanor. Yet, challenges arose. Tommy relapsed briefly, testing bonds. But collective support, Eleanor's wisdom, Jack's practicality, Clara's empathy pulled him back. It underscored resilience, the human capacity for redemption. One sunset on the beach, Eleanor gathered them. I asked a stranger about miracles, and look what happened. Belief isn't passive. It's action, kindness, forgiveness. Tommy hugged her. You taught me that. Jack nodded. And saved me. As stars emerged, they reflected on paths crossed by fate. Miracles, they agreed, are woven from human threads, fragile, beautiful, enduring. Back home eventually, Eleanor returned to her town, but transformed. She volunteered more, sharing her story to inspire others. Jack settled nearby, starting a mentorship program for youth like Mia. Clara and Tommy built a platonic partnership, co-parenting Lily with Anna. The station, once a site of sorrow, became a symbol of hope. Eleanor visited yearly, not waiting, but celebrating. In quiet moments, she whispered thanks for strangers, twists, and miracles that bind us. Years blended into a tapestry of renewed lives, each thread colored by the miracles they had forged together. Eleanor, now in her twilight, found joy in simple rhythms. Letters from Tommy, visits from Lily, calls from Jack and Clara. The station question had sparked a chain reaction, proving that one act of vulnerability could ripple outward, touching souls in profound ways. Tommy thrived in California, his art gaining recognition, portraits infused with redemption's light. He credited his mother. She believed when I couldn't. Lily grew into a spirited teen, her drawings echoing her father's talent, her grandmother's wisdom shaping her compassion. Jack married a kind woman he met through his mentorship program, naming their daughter Eleanor. You taught me to open my heart, he told the old lady during a family reunion. His engineering firm specialized in sustainable projects, a nod to building better futures. Clara's exhibitions toured, her works celebrating human connections. She and Tommy remained close, their past a foundation for friendship. The twist of finding you on that train, she mused, was fate's gift. But life, with its K-dramatic ebbs, brought trials. Eleanor's health faltered, a heart condition, doctors said. Hospital stays became frequent, yet she faced them with grace. Miracles aren't cures, she told her gathered family. They're the love that sustains us. One crisp autumn day, mirroring the one Thomas died, Eleanor requested a trip to the station. Tommy, Jack, Clara, and Lily accompanied her. Sitting on that familiar bench, she smiled. This is where it began. A question to a stranger. Jack chuckled. And look at us now, a family born from belief. As trains whooshed by, Eleanor shared final reflections. I've seen miracles. Lost sons returned, broken hearts mended, strangers becoming kin. But the greatest is humanity's capacity for good, even in darkness. Lily, teary-eyed, hugged her. You're my miracle, Grandma. That night, Eleanor passed peacefully, surrounded by love. Her funeral was a celebration story shared, tears mixed with laughter. Tommy spoke. Mom asked if I believed in miracles. She was one. In her will, she left the faded ticket, symbolizing journeys unfinished. Jack framed it, a reminder to embrace the unknown. Time marched on. Tommy mentored addicts, paying forward kindness. Jack expanded his program, helping countless youth. Clara illustrated children's books on hope. Lily pursued social work, inspired by her grandmother's legacy. Anniversaries brought them to the station, honoring Eleanor. Do you believe in miracles? They'd ask passers-by, sparking conversations that echoed her spirit. One year, a young woman sat beside them, lost and weary. Tommy turned to her. Young lady, do you believe in miracles? She hesitated, then shared her woes. They listened, offered coffee, a story the cycle continuing. Eleanor's question lived on, a beacon of humanistic values, empathy, resilience, the transformative power of connection. In a world often cynical, her tale reminded that miracles aren't supernatural feats but everyday acts of heart. As the group departed, Lily whispered to the sky, Thanks, Grandma, for teaching us to believe. The station faded behind, but the miracles endured eternal, woven into lives forever changed.